Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Call My Agent Bollywood is the official adaptation of the hit French show Call My Agent, which became a sensation on Netflix. The French original gave us a look at the hilariously frantic and eventful lives of the agents who managed the tantrums and insecurities of the stars, and all of the insanity that came with that. It's a charming insider view of show business, which also features some really cool cameos of actual French movie stars playing exaggerated versions of themselves. It's a thoroughly engaging show with an ingenious premise, and yet I found that show subdued. I just felt the humor didn't leap off the screen, and the show barely scratched the surface of the messy circus of movie making. And I just felt it was ripe for a remake where the hilarious insanity and chaotic crazy could be dialed all the way up. Which is why I was genuinely excited for Call My Agent Bollywood, which features a sparkling cast made up of Ayush Mehra, Aahana Kumra, Rajat Kapoor and Soni Razdan playing our four agents. And yet, Call My Agent Bollywood is a scene-for-scene, moment-for-moment, line-for-line remake of the original. Why is our go-to definition of adaptation to do the same frame-by-frame copy? It makes zero sense. Was there a legal contractual requirement to stick to the same script word for word? What is the point of storytelling even if you're just going to recreate the exact same thing? I think I need to lie down. A great adaptation would maintain the essence of the original, but then root it in our reality and our industry, not try and ape every aspect of it. The crazy and chaos and magic of making movies is universal and holds true for film industries around the world. But the Hindi film industry is distinctive and unique. We have our own class of crazy, our own brand of magic. And why this show chose not to delve into that, I don't know. Anyone who's ever worked in our industry has a literal treasure trove of stranger-than-fiction hilarious stories. We're already a world of such colourful characters and lovable exaggerations, which just needed to be captured and rooted in a genuine love for the movies to make this a fun series. So not only is this a failure as an adaptation, it's also a painfully missed opportunity, which, if you think about it, does make it pretty on brand for a Netflix India series. You know, a spectacularly promising premise with shoddy execution. Also, there's definitely a joke to be made in here somewhere about how actually in spirit this show does capture our industry pretty well, because what could be more Bollywood than a carbon copy? The prolific writing machines Hussain and Abbas Dalal are credited with writing the show, but a more accurate credit would have been translating the show. Considering it's all essentially exactly the same, it's only really the character names, a few details and references that are really different. Films like Luck by Chance and AK vs AK did a far better job of comically exploring and taking you behind the scenes of Hindi cinema. If anything, the wonderful Romy Roly from Zoya Akhtar's Luck by Chance, played by the late, great Rishi Kapoor, singularly did a better job of capturing, commenting on and satirizing Bollywood across a few scenes than this show manages to do in its entirety. For those who haven't seen the French original, however, Call My Agent Bollywood does have a fun energy between the tone, the background score, the good-looking people, but even at its best, it's just pleasant ambient viewing and hollow entertainment with very little to genuinely engage or excite or even make you laugh. The only real value and appeal the series has then is relying on the wonderful cameos of stars playing themselves to get you through, which includes the likes of Farah Khan, Richa Chadda, Tigmanshu Dhulia, Dia Mirza and Lara Datta among others. My favourites were the charming Lilith Dubey and Ila Arun, or Hussain Dalal playing a frustrated filmmaker, and above all, Ali Fazal, who just always seems to understand the assignment, here playing a hilariously cocky version of himself in the show's best episode. Conversely, the last episode, which is easily the most disappointing, features a very tame and wasted Jackie Shroff, who's an ideal choice for this show, but they just don't seem to know what to do with him, giving him one of the most forgettable storylines. In terms of the performances, the fine cast do their best with the material, but between the strictly serviceable writing and the stale storytelling from director Shad Ali, the whole thing feels like one giant exercise in making genuinely talented actors dull to watch. The forever dependable Rajat Kapoor is engaging as always, and as Meher, the talented Ayush Mehra is easily the most endearing to watch and certainly has a bright future ahead. But the female characters come out far less unscathed. Aahana Kumra is particularly shrill with a loud performance that doesn't seem to match the tone of the show. Also, her character is queer, and all her intimate scenes with other women through the show are shot with such an uncomfortable and obvious male gaze. There's also the wonderful Soni Razdan, whose character is painfully overlooked and doesn't get much of an arc, which is a problem I had with her character in the original French show as well. And as the wide-eyed newcomer Nia, who's supposed to be our eyes and ears into this crazy world, Radhika Seth is miscast and doesn't add much to the role. Even the show's production design feels loud. The office where most of the show takes place is so obviously a set, which for some reason is insanely colourful. It's an assault on the eyes, which makes it that much harder to take any of this seriously. Even the camera attracts far too much attention to itself. you're just so aware of it. So much so that even all the sweeping shots and longer takes feel gimmicky and take away from the scene instead of adding to them. There's a scene at the end of the second episode of Call My Agent Bollywood which is based in a funeral and sees a series of star cameos of people come to pay their respects. It's a genuinely laugh out loud moment of utter hilarity as all the stars say utterly ridiculous tone-deaf things which are so lovably out of touch with reality. It's a rare sparkling moment of actual writing that wasn't in the original and gives you but a taste of what the show could have been. If only that's the show we got. You can watch Call My Agent Bollywood on Netflix.